Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to do these highly requested koi pond nails. So let's get started. Start by grabbing all the gel polishes that I'm going to be using for my set, which is pretty much just a bunch of different shades of green, milky white, white, and black, and a cat eye gel polish as well. And then I put those aside and I start by getting the tips I'm going to be using. So this order is in a long square in medium size. So I already have medium size memorized, so I just put those on the stands. And I prep my nails with nail primer instead of buffing the nail. I just feel like this is way easier and gets the job done. You could also prep your nails with acetone, so just getting a lint-free wipe and wiping them with acetone, but I don't really like doing that. I used to do that, but I think it melts the nails a little bit too much and it kind of leaves this white residue sometimes that I don't really like. So when using a nail primer, you just want to rub the product like all over the nail, and you're gonna give it like a minute or two to dry, and it'll leave kind of like this residue look, but it's transparent. It's not gonna leave a mark like acetone does. Once I'm done priming my nails, I'm gonna go ahead and add the base colors. So this was the inspo for this set. I did come up with this design on my own. I feel like every spring koi pond nails are trending, so obviously I didn't come up with like koi pond nails, but I do notice they're usually like white or blue, and I rather have them green, so I decided to make my own set this year. I didn't make any last year. And me personally, I like when each nail on every set, not just this set, is a different design, so that's kind of what I was going for here. Of course, the same design does repeat itself like once maybe, but for the most part, every nail has like its own unique design. But I have noticed in most like koi pond nails on Pinterest and stuff, like each design is the same, and I didn't really want that for my set, so that's why I did them all like unique pretty much. And even with these nails that have the milky white base, they're gonna be covered in green. You're not gonna be able to tell in the end that they even have a milky white base underneath. And of course, I will link all the products that I'm using, especially the gel colors. I'm only using 4 different shades for my base colors, and one of them is just a basic base coat because it's a clear nail. And then the rest is a milky white shade, and then those 2 green shades that you can see now. Now this is what the base colors are looking like after 2 coats. Now I'm gonna break down the design with you guys. So I start off with the cat eye nails, which is these 2 nails. And I'm doing it over the milky white nails because I don't want it to look transparent, if that makes sense. I apply 1 coat of the cat eye polish, and before I cure it, I'll move around with a magnet to make it kind of look like the ripple effect, but there's no like real design I'm going for here. It's all random. I'll just mess around with it until I'm happy with the way that it looks. I'm really not the best with cat eye. I'm still learning, so I wasn't going for a crazy design or anything here. I feel like water is not perfect. It's supposed to look messy with like ripples and waves and stuff, so most of the designs here are imperfect. But I kind of did that on purpose because I want it to look more natural and like the inspo picture that I showed you earlier. So once I'm happy with the way that the cat eye was looking, I cure that for 60 seconds and I move on to the pinky and do the same design. On both of the nails, I'm adding a jelly green color on top to make it look like the cat eye polish was green in the first place. Instead of buying a bunch of different shades of cat eye polishes, you could always just buy 1 silver one like the one I used here and add a color of whatever jelly polish you want to use to make it look like that was the color of the cat eye in the first place. For my pinky, I didn't want to use the same green that I just used for the other nail because again, I don't want 2 of the nails to have the same design. But that was the only green jelly color that I had. So I just went ahead and mixed a bunch of different shades with that green jelly color that I was using earlier. And with a flat brush, I just applied it on the pinky, and it is like a more earthy green shade, but it's still jelly since we used that color that we used earlier. I'm done with all the nail art on those 2 nails. Anything that has to do with cat eye is done, so I move on to blooming gel. Most of the nails in the set have blooming gel. So first I'm starting off with this nail. This is the nail that we applied the base coat to, and I always do that to give it like a sticky inhibition layer, to give it that sticky tacky feeling so that my blooming gel can stick to the nail. And after I apply my blooming gel, I do not cure it, and I go in with that same green jelly color, and I just do like these mixed, matched, uneven like swooshes across the nail. It does not have to be perfect at all. I do this with 3 colors, and since I'm using the actual applicator of the nail brush, I wipe it before I put it back in the bottle so the colors don't mix. And I'm not curing in between layers or anything. I'm just packing them one on top of the other. Right before I put it in my lamp to cure, I get some milky white polish and just add like these little streaks. I cure that for 60 seconds, and this is what the design is looking like. And we can cross this design off the list because we are done. So we are moving on to the other 2 nails. These 2 nails are gonna be the same exact design nail art wise, but the charms and stickers in the end are gonna be different. I added a layer of blooming gel, and again, I do not cure it. I mix black and my darkest shade of green, and the camera's kind of not really like picking it up, but I'm adding like these shadows of dark green, and I go in with a lighter green to kind of add like, again, the ripple effect or like these wave effects super imperfectly. I don't want it to look symmetrical or anything like that. Kind of messy actually, to make it look more like water or a koi pond. Doing this on top of a layer of blooming gel makes the colors spread, which kind of makes it look more like the pond that we're going for in the inspo picture. I do this design on 2 of the nails, so here I'm just doing it on the second nail, which is the middle finger of the opposite hand. And once I'm happy with how it's all spread out, I cure that for 60 seconds. We are finally on our last design that uses blooming gel. This design is super simple. I just added my layer of blooming gel, and before I cure it, I added some lines of a dark green across the nail, and then I go in with a lighter green and just add some random dots, and that's pretty much it. I cured that for 60 seconds. Now I'm moving on to these 2 nails, and you're probably already familiar with this design. But I'm doing these water droplet nails, which all you have to do is add a layer of milky white gel polish. Before curing, you're just going to dab on some top coat and make like little droplets all over the nail. It definitely does not have to be perfect, and you could use a dotting tool, but I'd rather just use the actual applicator. And you'll see that the top coat starts to spread and kind of do like this water looking effect. Once I'm happy with how the nail is looking, I'll cure that for 60 seconds, and that's it for this design, and I'll repeat the same design on the pinky. I know some of these designs may look messy or imperfect, but that's kind of the goal I was going for. I didn't want to overthink the nail art, and it does all come together in the end, especially when we start mixing in everything else. Like, remember, this is just the base. We still have to add our charms and our stickers and our 3D effects. I didn't really want to do anything crazy for these designs. I just wanted it to look like water in a pond. We are finally moving on to the last design, which is these 2 nails. I mentioned earlier that you will not even be able to tell that this was a milky white base because we're going to cover the entire nail with different shades of green. So the swaying motion that you just saw me do, I do that all over the nail, and I'll cure that for 30 seconds, and then I'll go back in and just tap in how I'm doing here, a bunch of different shades of green, almost like I'm layering like all these different shades. And I'll do this about 3 more times, curing in between each layer. I'm going for kind of like a mossy look, just overall very earthy and like naturey. Once I'm happy with the final look, I will cure that for 60 seconds, and then I just add some like little details to make it look like branches or leaves. I don't know, just to add like more green to it. And I'm almost done with my gel polishes. Now I'm just adding some lily pads on these 2 nails because I feel like lily pads are a must on a koi pond nail, especially these. I wanted them to still be pretty detailed, even if the designs on the nails are overall simple. On the second nail, I'm not doing anything crazy. I just did 1 lily pad, and then I did these 2 lily pads that are just 2 little circles in different colors. We are finally done with anything that has to do with nail art. This is what it's looking like. And I'm moving on to chrome. So luckily only one of the nails has chrome, which is the blooming gel design from earlier. The video posted before this one is a chrome tutorial for beginners, including how to do iridescent chrome, which goes into detail on how I did that iridescent chrome just now. And once I'm done with that, I'm moving on to the stickers. So I use Koi Pond stickers and this other pack of flower stickers. And I wanted most of the nails to have koi fishes on them, so I put them on about 8 of the nails. I've been doing so many of these Koi Pond nails that I was running out of stickers so fast, but I did get these on Amazon. I'll link them in the description. This set in the video I think is my 7th time making these Koi Pond nails. I'm overall happy with that. And of course I had to buy like double the amount of stickers this time, but I'm so glad that people are enjoying the Koi Pond nails. Once I'm done adding all my stickers, I make the little like lotus flowers. So I already had a mold for this, and since these are very thin small molds, I'm just using white gel polish and I'm filling in the entire mold. I start by doing those little crevices first, and then I'll flip the mold around to make sure that there's no air bubbles or anything. And then I'll just fill up the rest of the nail with white gel polish. I cure that for like 2 to 3 minutes because I want to make sure it cures all the way through. And I'll gently pull it out of the mold because sometimes it will break if you're too harsh with it. I also make sure to do each flower one by one because if I tried to do all 3 of them, it would just be like way too messy. And really take your time with it. It's really not hard to make these flowers, it's just pretty time consuming. And since these molds are overall thin, it's okay for me to just use like white gel polish, but for bigger molds you would have to mix them with any sort of thick 3D gel. Once I have my flowers, I'll nip the sides of like excess gel with some nippers just to make it look a little bit nicer and cleaner. Now that I have all my flowers made, I glue them on the 2 nails that they go on, just using any form of like nail glue or rhinestone glue, whatever you use to glue on your charms. That's what you'll use to glue on the molds. Once I have my lotus flowers attached to my nail, I'll get any pink sheer like base jelly color and color in little bits of the lotus flower, like all the petals and things like that, just to add some detail to them and make them look a little bit more overall vibrant, since the white alone was pretty bland. I'm moving on to charms, and there's really not many charms on the set at all because it would have taken away from the Koi Pond look that I was going for. So I only really added like those 2 different aurora beads. One of them was like an iridescent brownish greenish color, and the other one is the basic white one. And I wanted it to kind of look like water droplets, but with some color added to it. And I only added it on about 2 or 3 of the nails on each hand. But our design is almost finished now. We are at the last step, which is going to be the 3D art. I start by top coating all of the nails and curing them for 60 to 90 seconds. I make sure to top coat everything, even the lotus flowers, because I like doing my 3D gel personally over the nail on top of the top coat, because when you do it before top coating, it will kind of blend into your design, and I want it to pop out a little bit more. And once I've top coated and cured all of my nails, I'll start off with my 3D gel. The way I do my 3D gel is I'll apply the little amount of 3D gel that I want directly to my brush and just work with it like that. This gives me way more control over the like design than if I was to like place it on my little nail palette, or if I was to like get it directly from a tub. This gives me more like flow, which is what I want. And I'm just getting creative with my 3D lines. I'm not really following any specific order, I'm just doing what comes to mind. And I fill 8 of the nails with just a bunch of 3D lines covering the entire nail. When I was first ever creating this design, I knew that I wanted most of the nails to be filled with 3D clear gel because it really makes it look like water, and the overall like swirls and entire flow of the 3D gel that I'm using here really gives it like that water look I was going for. Also, when you're using 3D gels, you want to make sure the 3D gel that you're using is a no wipe gel, because you don't want it to leave a sticky layer on your nails or have any sort of exposed uncured gel on your press-on nails. I make sure to cure each nail for 2 to 3 minutes because this is a thick 3D gel, so you want to make sure that the gel cures all the way through. Our design is finally done. This is what it's looking like, and all that's left is to file. You're gonna file up to right where I was showing you guys to give it that like really crispy look and to give it those sharp edges on a long square nail that makes it look just, I don't know, just like so crispy. I filed all of my nails and I'm just dusting off everything. I make sure to get all the dust off even under the nail, and we are finally done with our set. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys, and if you did follow it and recreate this set, please tag me. I am so excited to see it, and thank you for watching.